Here is another example of an option trade that didn't go so well for me. And hopefully remembering the carnival thing, we can go through this a little bit easier or interesting or learn more. So on January 12th, I sold a call option for $87. At the time I sold that, the price of this company, DOW, D-O-W, they're a chemical company. They do a lot of business stuff. So the price of DOW was at $53.08. Now, when you sell a call option, what you're saying to the world is, you can take my 100 shares if the price goes to the strike price. That's where the strike price is. So for this option, the strike price was $55. That's what a strike price is. So I put this strike price exists in place for as long as the option is in effect. In this case, the option was set to expire, not like my carnival option, but a week later on February 16th. So on January 12th, I sold it. I liked the premium, $87, wonderful. I sold it to the world. At the time I sold it, Dow was at $53.08, and I put this $87 in my pocket, and I forgot about it, but not really. Well, I forgot about it for a while because the price of the stock went down. So the premium also went down, because the likelihood of, as the price goes down and as time moves towards the expiration, the likelihood of the price of the stock getting to 55, the struck price, and then going above is reduced. So the value of that option is also reduced. So I had gotten a good premium. I was happy and everything was wonderful. Except it started to turn, and the Dow, or not the company, rallied. The stock market got excited also. And all of a sudden, on January 25th, 13 days later, the price of this stock was hovering very close to my strike price. So it was around $54.84, $54.94. And that got my attention, because at that point, I had to consider the possibility that the stock might get called, my 100 shares might get called away. What that means is that I would then have to sell my shares for $55, and someone else could take them, and they would exercise that option because the price of Dow is now going through the strike price, and they can make money. I lose money because I don't get to enjoy appreciating above the the strike price. I'm stuck having to give my shares up there because I wanted this premium. So that's what it means to have a strike price there. So at this point, on January 25th, I go, I don't want to take the chance to lose my shares. My cost of the shares, without including the dividend, was $57.72. Actually, when you factor in the dividend that I've been collecting, Dow pays like a 5% dividend. I'm actually 4 or 5% in the positive. But for the purpose of this example, we don't talk about dividends paid in the past. We're just looking at what I'm thinking about this particular option. So as I'm looking at this, I'm going, you know what? How much is it going to cost me to get out of this trade? So I look at the option, the value of this option now, which, as we all know, it's going to be much more expensive than the $87 that I sold it for, because now we're really getting close to the strike price. So when I looked at the going rate, that option was now worth $109, okay, on January 25th. So I had to make a decision. Do I take my chances and see what happens with the price of the stock for the next 21 days and worry about it going through the strike price, in which case I would probably break even plus maybe 5%? Or do I take some action to get out of this mess, quote, quote, out of this mess, or to just deal with it and forget about it? Well, my choice was to spend the money and buy this option back. So on January 25th, I made the decision to buy what I had sold for 87 and bought it back for 109, realizing a loss of around 25% on my money over a 13-day period. So there's an example of having the option get more valuable, freaking out me that I sold it, and then me taking an action to sell it before it got in the strike price. Now, it's interesting to follow it because as of today, which is the 26th, the price, well, I guess a day later, things have cooled off a little bit, and it's down in, it's almost even at 54. But I've stopped looking at it that way because I'm out of the trade. I basically realized a $22 loss. Goodbye to this trade. Didn't work out for me. I immediately started looking at the option chain and see if I could buy or sell another call option at a strike price that was a little bit higher to try and get some of this money back. But the premiums that I was looking at, they don't seem to be that attractive. So for right now, I'm just out of Dow and realizing a $22 loss on an option that just didn't really go my way. So that's an example of where things didn't quite work out. I make a decision at this point to sell it. It would have been interesting to see what happened to the premium values as the time got closer and closer to the expiration of the option. But I would have had to wait a while. We're talking 6 days in January, plus another 16 day, 16, is that 16 days? Yeah, 16 days in February. That's 22 days. I wasn't prepared to wait that long, at least initially. Now, looking back on it, maybe I should have waited. Maybe the price actually would have come down. Maybe I could have sold it or rebought it back for a smaller price. But whatever, as being an inexperienced option guy, I just decided, let's see what happens or how this feels. I sold, I'm done, I'm out of the trade. I lost a little bit of money, kept my 100 shares and my 5% dividend, and we'll see what happens next time. Worst case scenario, this thing goes up through 55. I part with my shares at 55 a share. Maybe they go to 56, who knows? If I really love the company, which I do, and I do like having the shares, I could just buy them back. But then I would realize on my original investment a loss in the value part of it. If you factor in the dividends, I would have probably just done okay. So there's another example of what I did when I sold a call option, which is giving someone the right to call away your shares if they hit the strike price at some time in the future before the expiration date.